Hey, it seems like jar lids are all the rage lately on some of the Facebook groups. And so I bought these jars. It was a 2-pack for only $8 at Home Goods. By the time you see this video, they may not even have them anymore. But I thought that these might make a fun Mother's Day gift for my mother and my mother-in-law. And my wife is out here in the studio with me, and we are going to build some glass components to glue to the top of these lids. And then she's going to bake some treats and fill it with treats for Mother's Day. So I thought that, and you may have seen me do a similar video like this before. As you know, I have these decals that are available on Fusing.shop, www.fusing.shop. And we are going to lay out a pattern of Murini, fire it, add the decal, and then put it on top. And I think it'll look really cool. So I've already got some glass circles cut. We're going to cut a bunch of Murini. We're going to lay out our designs. I'm not going to show all that on camera, but then I'll talk about the firing. We'll apply the decals, fire them again, glue them to the top, and have a finished product. All right, here are the pieces that we made. This is the one that my wife did, and this is the one that I made, and all made with beautiful, beautiful Murini, mostly leaves from Lori at Wilderness Glass. So the next step is, and this is gonna go in for multiple firings, but we secured this all with hairspray. So see, none of it comes off. That we used a lot of hairspray to put on there. And what I'm going to do now is to fire it full fuse upside down. And the reason is I want to apply the decal, obviously this side, you're not gonna put it on the white side. I wanna apply the decal to this side. And I want it to be as smooth as possible for doing that. So I could put it in full fuse this way, and this would smooth out quite a bit, but I think I'm gonna keep that definition better and get a more flat surface if I fuse it this way. So we're going to put both of these in upside down. Now we've discussed, I'm not even sure if we're gonna apply a decal to this one. We may just go with it as it is without the decal, but we'll decide that later. So I'm gonna put, this means there's an extra firing here is my point. I'm gonna put these in upside down, face down, fire at full fuse, flip it, dust it with some clear powder to get a nice shine, and full fuse it again. And then we will apply the decal and fire it as a third firing. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the first firing underway right now. All right, so these pieces are out of the kiln. Look how nicely that fused. I'm not sure if this video, hang on. I'm all wobbly here. So I think that looks really nice. This one piece turned out very nice as well. So white on the back. Next step, I'm going to dust these with clear powder, put them back in for full fuse to get a nice shiny, clean top. All right, so forgive my little camera tripod leg here. I had some surgery. I had Achilles surgery, and so I'm on a knee scooter and at quite a disadvantage here in the studio as I try to work around and create a little bit of a different setup for myself. So I'm over on the end of the bench where I can be. Anyway, these came out of the kiln quite nice. So I flipped them, polished them with, I didn't polish them, but I put some clear powder on there so they had a nice polishy shine, and quite pleased with how both of these turned out. So now it's time to apply the decals. Now I'm just gonna say this, and my wife called it before it even went into the kiln. Hers got a little off center. I think the decal should apply fairly well to this. They're never gonna line up perfectly. That would just be so hard to get that kind of precision. But on hers in particular, I think maybe the center, as she started to build it, may have moved. And then, as you can see, she's got this dark ring of Murini here and ran out of space over here. So we may not do the decal. I'm gonna try it and just see if I can make it fit well enough, but it just may not look very, very good, which is okay, because I think even just this as the jar topper without the decal would be really pretty. And so if the decal doesn't work, then that's the direction that we're going to take. But I'm going to try it and see what happens. So the way in which these decals work is super easy. Couldn't be any easier. So they are on This yellow burns off, so they're not going to remain yellow. Just the black will remain. They're on a piece of paper. You soak this in water and it slides right off, and I'll show you how that works. Now, they come with a piece of tissue paper to protect the decal, and so you have to peel that off first. I've already peeled it off of these two. You have to peel that off first. If it doesn't come off on a clean sheet, a little bit of white vinegar helps take that off, but you have to take this tissue paper off before you do anything else. Some of them come with, like this one, like a little registration mark on there. That's actually decal material, and so if you leave that on, it'll come off as well in the water, and you just don't want that to accidentally, you know, disrupt your design at all. So I usually just, if there's any kind of that printing on here, then I just make sure I take that off. So the next step, I just have a little to-go container. I'm not doing many of these, only 2. So I've just got a little lid from like a to-go container. Just put a little bit of water in, and I'm gonna go ahead and put my first decal in here. You see how it curls up maybe a little bit? So what you want to do is, there we go, get it fully submerged in the water. And the water's not cold, it's not warm, it's just kind of room temperature. But let that sit for just a little bit. Make sure your glass pieces are fully clean. And let's see, we're going to start with mine here first. And so it makes a little bit of a mess. You might have a towel handy, but nothing too bad. And let's see, just kind of check. Yeah, see, it's already sliding off. See that? So it wasn't in there very long. I'm going to go ahead, and you want to get, I'm not talking very well today, need more coffee. So you want to get the edge over here kind of started. What you don't want to do, you do not want to lift the decal off the paper. First of all, you risk putting it upside down, and I'm just here to tell you, it doesn't work when it's upside down. See how that just slid out? I'm gonna go ahead and put my other one in and let that start to soak. So you don't want to lift it off the paper, you just want to slide it. The second thing is you're going to avoid more bubbles if you do it that way. So now at this point you can work with it and move it around. I didn't line this up as well as I should have, but there are kind of 5 points that are on this decal that I made 5 white leaves that I wanted to try to line up with those. So that's what I'm aiming for now as I'm doing this. And as I said, this is never going to be super precise, but it's not too bad as I'm looking at it here. So I've got, it's hard to see a little bit through the yellow, but I've got these white leaves that I was trying to line up there. I've got the center pretty much right nailing in the center there. And so this might be hard to see on video, but there are some bubbles in here. So then the next step, and sometimes I just wet my finger, is to kind of work those bubbles out to the edge, because you don't want air underneath this decal. So you don't have to, you don't have to be super ginger, but you also don't want to wrinkle it. Like there, I made just a little bit of a wrinkle. So you want to just kind of make sure that there's no wrinkles and make sure there are no bubbles. But this is not hard. This is, I mean, beginner level stuff, honestly. On my decals, I can't speak to others, but I can tell you on mine, they're easy to use. And if you happen to buy my decals, you're invited to a private Facebook group where people will tell you how easy they are to use. So, okay, so then just work it down around the edge. Now I have just a little bit of glass left around the sides. If this piece was a little smaller, you could actually work that decal all the way around to the edge, no problem. And if you want to just use the center of the decal or just cut this floral design out or something, you could easily do that too. So you can cut these up and do what you want to with them. I'm pretty pleased with this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it off to the side and I'm going to let it dry, maybe an hour or so. And then I'm going to come back and check it, and I'll film what that looks like as well. All right, let's see. This other one's been sitting for a while. I usually don't like to let these sit too long, but I was doing an instructional video, so this one's been sitting a little bit longer, but it didn't float off the paper. That's certainly what you want to avoid. So again, just work yourself to the edge, pull that out. And let's see how we can make this one work. So yeah, as I'm looking at the glass circle itself and centering the decal, this might be hard to see, but the flower in the middle is off center. It's like there versus there. Just working this a little bit to see. I mean, I can, if I lined it up with the flower a little bit more, then the decal is significantly off center. So I think my wife's in the kitchen baking cookies right now, but I think I may go in and deliver the bad news that I'm not sure that this one's going to work for a decal. I'm just going to peel that off. That one's just a loss. I'll wash it, and I still think that's beautiful. I think it's really pretty, and I think it'll make a nice jar topper, but not necessarily as a decal project. Okay, I'll let this dry for a little bit, and I'll come back and show you what I'm doing with it next. All right, this has been drying for about a half an hour. You know, you could aim a fan at this or something if you wanted to dry a little bit more. There's still a little wiggle room in here, but not too much. So what you're looking for, and honestly, I may have done a poor demo here in that I can't really find any, but what you're looking for are any air bubbles that maybe you missed. And so what I do is I have a little X-Acto knife. If there's an air bubble that is in the clear area or yellow, basically not related to the black, frankly, you can just let it be because it's not going to hurt anything. All that's going to burn off anyway. What you're looking for is if there's any air bubble under black, because if there's an air bubble under any of the black, all right, so let's see, I found something here. I don't know if this is showing up or not. Yeah, there. Can you see that bubble right there? So it's kind of under that black. That means that that's going to create a little bitty scar or mark on the decal, and you're not going to be able, there's just going to be a little interruption in that color. So what you want to do is you want to take care of that bubble. Now, my first choice, I'm just going to try to push it, frankly, out, but because there's still a little give in this decal, it's not fully dry. But if you can't do that, then I would just poke it, like literally just try to make a little pin prick and then press it down with your finger to kind of get the air out. Okay, so for me, that bubble pressed right out. But if you needed to, just do a little bitty pin prick and push down on it to kind of get that air out. I'm looking, kind of inspecting the black areas. Yeah, I don't see any other bubbles. There may be little micro bubbles, and that will impact the decal a little bit, but not too bad. Not too bad at all. So now I'm going to fire this. So if you order the decals, you get firing instructions. I like to go to about no higher than 1225, 1200 really. Kind of a slump temperature is kind of what I prefer, which, so that's another good point. If you've got other things that you're putting in the kiln for a slump, doing a couple of decal projects would be a nice way to fill your kiln a little bit more as well. So about 1200 for me, 30 minutes. I like 30 minutes at 1200, but that's my kiln. But the higher you go, the hotter you take these, the more risk you have that the black is going to burn out. So it starts to gray, you just lose that saturation of color the higher you go, which is why you have to fire these separately as a lower, more like a slump firing schedule. So I'm going to put this in the kiln. I'm not even going to put it on paper or anything because 1200, I've got some kiln wash on my shelf and that's not going to be enough to stick. So I'm going to put it in for 1200, 30 minutes, and we'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. All right, here is this one with the decal on it, and I'm pretty pleased with it. Now, you know, the pattern was hard to follow, so clearly I've got something nice in the center. These are pretty decent. Even the 5 points of the kind of white leaves are fairly close, but it really kind of starts to fall apart from there. But that's okay, because I still think it's awesome. I'm still really happy with it. So now here's the lid. The lid does have a little bit of an indentation on it, but that's okay. So I'm gonna just put a big old glop of this glue. This is the Gorilla Maximum Strength Clear Adhesive that is in my Amazon store. You can find the link in the video notes. I love this stuff and use it for everything. So I'm gonna put a big old squirt of it out there, and that'll be enough to kind of grab onto this and cure for 24 hours, and then we'll see what it looks like when it's all done. All right, and there's the finished piece on the jar topper. Sorry I don't have a picture or a video of the other one. We wrapped it up and shipped it to my mother-in-law and forgot to take any photos. But here's this one. So we're gonna fill this with some treats. It's gonna make a perfect Mother's Day present. And the glue, you know, held up very well. This thing is really on here. So very, very pleased. I hope you found something of interest here. Please make sure that you're checking out Wilderness Glass. Lori Moreno does some amazing work. Her link is within my link tree. Okay, here's a little bit of bonus footage. Now, I know that this can use a lot of Murini, and I know that it looks kind of expensive, and you've seen me do other pieces that are sun catchers with Murini. Here are some photos of these. These work so well with transparent glass and with leaves in particular. And so while I'm not sponsored by Lori Moreno at Wilderness Glass, we do have a nice relationship. I buy plenty of stuff from her, but I also reached out to her and I said, hey, you know what might help people out is if you make a mixed leaf pack. So instead of, if you want 7 colors, instead of buying 7 different packages of leaves, which can get expensive, she's done a mix here so that you get a variety of colors in a piece, and these are available on our website now. Now, here's what I'm saying. I am filming this and posting this, what is today? Today is June 15th. And so these are on her website as of June 15th. I don't know when you're watching this, and I don't know how much stock she has. But if you're interested in trying to pick up a variety of leaves in lots of different colors to create things like this, this might be your opportunity. So jump on and catch some packets from Lori. I got 3 of them here myself, because it's just a nice way to have a variety without necessarily having to buy individual packages of all of them, because it can add up. So thank you, Lori, for your partnership and willing to work with me on this idea. I'm glad that we did this and that we can offer it to my viewers. So if you're interested, go to wildernessglass.com, wildernessglass.com. She is no longer on Etsy. Do not buy from Etsy thinking you're buying from Lori, because you're not. You have to go direct to her website, wildernessglass.com. Okay, enough of a commercial. Thank you, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this project, and love to see what you're creating. So go to my Facebook page, and when I drop a note asking what you're making, share some photos. Thanks. Bye-bye.